Welcome to Freedom of Learning program. This is an English learning program deliberately designed in flexible fashion to give freedom of choice of whatever your circumstances are. At this very first meeting, we need to equip you with foundations of concept that we expect to ease you to go through the entire series of these learning videos. Please keep in mind these 4 key elements during the entire process of this learning. First, never afraid of making mistakes and be confident. Please ignore any obstacles coming from your surroundings, which might come from your friends, your families, and other social obstacles. They are parasites that will prevent you from progressing. The second is your mother tongue, that is Bahasa Indonesia. It will help you a lot to master English because your ability to use proper Bahasa Indonesia highly affects your success in learning English at this level. It might be the first time for you to hear this concept. Indeed, this is a brand new approach to help you reduce your burdens in learning English grammar. The third is vocabulary. Like it or not, you will never avoid memorizing vocabulary, whatever language you are learning. So, the more vocabulary you know, the more chances of success you will get. The last but not least is to practice a lot. This is another important element whatever you are learning. The more you practice, the more fluent you will be. Okay? Now, let's get into the topic for today. Before we get into the topic, I would like to explain you the lesson plan for today's class. The first is understanding key vocabulary and phrases. On this part, you will be introduced by some related vocabularies and phrases to the topic. The topic that we have for today's class is about friends. The activity that you will have for this part is listening to some important vocabularies about the topic that we have. Then, you will be required to read and pronounce it correctly according to the example that you have listened. And then, the next part is listening to a passage and a dialogue. On this part, you will be listening a short passage and a dialogue. While listening to the passage and a dialogue, you will be required to pay attention on the pronunciation spoken by the speakers of the audio. It is important for you to be familiar with utterances spoken by native speakers. The next is reading a passage. On this part, you will read the passage that you have already listened to make sure whether or not you have pronounced the word correctly, you will use a Google Translate. While reading the passage, please open a Google Translate and click on the microphone icon. By doing so, what you are saying will appear on the screen. It will allow you to know whether or not your pronunciation is correct. The last one is speaking. On this part, you will be describing your best friends. It is related to the personality of your friends, and also telling what you are keen on. Okay, now let's get into the topic. Okay, let's begin our class for today with vocabulary. At this part, you will be listening some words about the topic that we have for today. The words that you will be listening is personality adjective, like what you can see on your screen. Okay, let's listen it together. Oh yeah, after you listen to the entire part of the audio, I will require you to practice reading those words. So, while listening to it, please pay a very close attention of how these words are pronounced by native speakers in the audio recordings. Okay, let's listen it together.
Module 1, Unit 2, Exercise 7. Key words, personality adjectives. Listen and repeat the words.
Friendly, funny, hard-working, helpful, honest, kind, lazy, moody, organized, outgoing, patient, shy, untidy.
Okay, you have finished listening to those words. Now it's time for you to practice reading all those words. Let's begin from the first words. Okay, come on, let's get started. What about this one? Okay, good. And this one? Okay, brilliant. And this one? Very good. This one? Right, good. Okay, what about this one? Okay, I'm really sure that some of you have made some mistakes. I believe that most of you also pronounce the word age here. In fact, the word age here is not pronounced. So the correct pronunciation for this word is honest. Okay, without reading the age words. Okay, let's go to the next word. This one? Okay, good. This one? Alright, this one? I'm sure you are quite familiar with these words. And what about this one? It's a little bit tricky. Okay, right. I'm really sure that some of you also have read the last two words here. In fact, you do not need to read the last two letter here. Okay, I'll try to give you how to read or how to pronounce these words correctly. Organized, organized. Okay, please pay attention on the last part, organized. Okay, right, please repeat it. Organized. Okay, good. Let's go to the next word. This one. All right, this one. Okay, this one. You. This one. Okay, fantastic. Right, please practice to read or to pronounce those words over and over again until you are able to read it or pronounce it correctly. Okay, now I need to tell you the meaning of those words. For your level, I think it's important for you to know or to understand the meaning of those words, because it will be useless to pronounce it well, to pronounce it correctly, but you do not know the meaning of those words. Okay, let's begin from the first word. This is friendly. In Bahasa Indonesia it means ramah. Funny, I'm really sure that's been familiar among you. This word means lucu. Hardworking, pekerja keras. Helpful, membantu. So if people like to help, the words to describe these people is called helpful. Okay. Honest, jujur, ini baik hati. Kemudian lazy, ini malas. Moody, ini sebenarnya sudah diserap ke dalam bahasa Indonesia ya. Moody, parahnya moody. Organized. Nah, organized itu bisa dikatakan sistematis, teratur, ya, hidupnya teratur, organized. Jadi tidak berantakan, semuanya sudah terplanning, everything has been on planned. Kemudian outgoing. Nah, outgoing ini egaliter, ya, enakan orangnya, jadi tidak terlalu jaim barangkali ya, tidak terlalu gila hormat. Outgoing, egaliter. Ya. Patient, ini sabar. Shy, malu. Kemudian untidy, berarti tidak rapi, ya, orangnya kurang rapi, ya, untidy. Okay. Right, that is vocabulary practice, and after this we will go to another part of our class for today. Still, I will play an audio for the next part, because that is important, really important. Some Indonesian people cannot understand English which is spoken by native speakers because of the pronunciation. The pronunciation is very strong when it is spoken by native speaker. It's different from if you are listening to me, because I am Indonesian, so my pronunciation is not really strong, and I'm really sure that you can understand what I'm saying very well. Okay, let's go to the next part. Okay, here you will be listening a short passage about our friends. At the end of this part, you will be required to make similar passage and try to practice telling it. Okay, so please pay attention on every single word pronounced in the audio. Right? I will play the audio now.
Module 1, Unit 2, Exercise 5. Our friends.
Lydia is my best friend, and she's good fun. I usually go out with her at the weekend. She takes lots of photographs and she's interested in art. Her marks aren't very good because she's a bit lazy. She is untidy and she can never find anything. She's very funny and we always have a good laugh together.
My best friend is Grace. She's hardworking and very organised. Her homework is never late and she always gets up early and makes her bed. She gets good marks at school. I don't because I'm bad at studying. Sometimes she's angry when I'm late, but she's usually patient and waits for me. Grace is kind and honest, and I talk to her when I have a problem.
Ethan is my best friend. We often listen to music and we sometimes write songs together. I write the music and he's good at writing song lyrics. He's very funny and outgoing. He's never moody or shy. He's a great friend and I like him a lot.
My best friend is Rory. He's shy and some people think he is moody, but I get on with him really well. When you get to know him, he's really friendly. He's helpful and he looks after my dog in the holidays. He's into music, but he's not very good at singing. His bedroom is full of old computers. He's like a mad scientist.
Okay, you have finished listening to it. And I'm really sure if you listen to it without reading the text, you'll find it very difficult, because they speak quite fast. And you need to get used to it. You need to be familiar with utterances like this. Right. There are some important things that I need to tell you here in terms of the way English people speak or read a text. For example, have a look at the phrase, hang on a minute. Like this one, for example. When we read it, or when you read it, most of you will read it one by one, like she is interested in art, but the English don't. They combine one word to another. So the way she read it, she's interested in art. She is interested in art. Have a look at the last three words. Interested in art. They combine those words as if those words are one word. But in fact, they're not. They are still separated words. But they combine reading them. Can you look at here? When the last letter of the word is a consonant, just like the word D here, and then the preceding word or the next word begins with a vowel, so they combine it. Interested in. Interested in. Okay, and then have a look at the last word, art. Begin with the vowel, the word A, the letter A, and the previous one ended by a consonant. In art, not in art, but in art. Okay, so you have to be familiar with the way the English read or speak. That's the natural way of English speak. And many other words or phrases that work similar, that works the same way as like what I mentioned or explained just now. Alright, now please practice reading this text or this passage, but while reading it, please open a Google Translate. Okay, can you try to open Google Translate? Right, when you're done, okay, while you are reading the text, please click on the microphone icon. Okay, and then you will see some words appear on the screen. By doing so, you will correct yourself. You will be able to correct yourself whether or not your pronunciation is correct. Okay, let's practice reading it. Okay, when you're done, at the end of this class, I want you to make a passage like this, a passage telling about your best friend, and try to practice speaking it, telling it, and you can submit it on the classroom, and then we can give you any corrections if you made some mistake there. Okay, but that is at the end of this class. Okay, now let's continue by trying to understand this text. Okay, I will help you translating this passage. So some of you who are not quite familiar with some words here will be able to know it. Okay,